Any show that goes against certain values of its intended audience is always filled with a lot of controversies. This happens mostly with Disney shows. The shows are meant for kids and teenagers, but most of them go against some fundamental rules for kids' shows. There are some crazy truths you may not know about most of them, and today we focus on one particular Disney show, Jessie. Welcome to Riveted, and here are the dark truths about the Jessie show on Disney. Watch until the end for some dark and disturbing revelations. An episode was pulled. Disney Channel pulled an episode amid controversy surrounding its approach to a recurring character's gluten intolerance. The episode Quitting Cold Koala finds Debbie Ryan's titular nanny tasked with minding Zuri's frenemy, Stuart, that was played by JJ Toda, who follows a gluten-free diet. Upon learning the food restrictions that come with his condition, jokes are made, one of which involved pancakes being tossed at Stuart while he screams, "Gluten!" Disney Channel apologized, and their apology was partly in response to a petition posted to change.org, which stated that Stuart was portrayed as annoying, sniveling, and demanding, repeatedly teased and excluded by the other children. The complainant asked the company to stop using gluten intolerance as an excuse to bully children with any disease, disorder, or disability. This is definitely not Disney Channel's first brush with controversy. Former Disney princess Demi Lovato called out her former employer back in 2011 for making fun of eating disorders. She said that she found it funny how a company can lose one of its actresses from the pressures of an eating disorder and yet still make jokes about that very disease. Demi Lovato was referring to her own battle with an eating disorder. Sexual innuendos. Just like its spin-off show Bunked, Jessie was supposed to be a family-friendly show. However, the language that was mostly used was not anything near a family-friendly show. As is the norm with scriptwriters, they tried as much as they could to hide the sexual references in the Jessie show, but they didn't do so well, and we all know that sexual language is not something a child should be exposed to. Parents' reviews did not even make anything better. As a matter of fact, they made things worse. One parent said that she was shocked that the show was on the Disney Channel, considering the Jessie show is geared towards and advertised to tweens. According to her, there were three major reasons as to why she decided that it was not a show to be watched by her family. And from there, she never watched it again. The first reason was that Luke, a character in the show that was played by the late Cameron Boyce, said to Emma, played by Peyton List, that he couldn't believe he got credit for taking pictures of cute girls, to which Emma responded by saying, "The assignment is to take pictures of New York's flora fauna." Luke then kept pushing further by saying, "I hope those are hot Latin twins." In the same conversation, Jessie said, "Do you have an off button?" To which Luke raised his eyebrows and responded, "Yes, you want to come find it?" Another scene that the parent pointed out was when nasty neighbor Mrs. Chesterfield told her dog, "Give me a kiss," and the dog licked her face. Okay, before you say anything, we are totally okay with a dog licking anyone's face, and it's not bad, right? However, the dog continued licking her face for a long time. Then she opened her mouth while the dog licked her face. Ugh. The doorman yelled from the background and said that PDA was not allowed in the lobby. The last bit of her reasons was when Zuri, also a character in the show, told Jessie that her imaginary frenemy had ripped the head off of her doll. She then added that Jessie should see what her frenemy did to her Build-A-Baboon because it would not have children. We are sure all of us understood what that means. The parent finished her reviews and said that the most disturbing thing in reason number 1 and number 3 is that it was young children who were saying those lines, and to her, the show was not funny at all, and the acting was terrible. What do you think? Tell us in the comments section below. Actors' behaviors. Disney stars have not always had the best reputation, from Demi Lovato, Miley Cyrus, Orlando Brown, to Lindsay Lohan, and the list goes on. They have proven that being a child actor has its own consequences. This curse caught up with Debbie Ryan, who was arrested for drunk driving. Debbie, who is always referred to as the star of the Jessie show, was driving in LA around 11 p.m. when she made a left turn in her 2016 Audi and slammed into a Mercedes. The police came and gave the actress a field sobriety test and promptly arrested her for felony driving under the influence. Although her representatives did not give any statements at the time, she was charged with 2 criminal offenses and released on $100,000 bail. She certainly would not pass as a good example not only to the kids who watched her on show, but also for those who acted with her. We don't think a parent would be happy to leave her child under her care after such behavior. Anyway, people do change, right? Debbie later apologized by talking to Twitter, saying that she had the chance to think over her actions and wished that she had used better judgment. She recognized that she's a role model and has always worked hard to set a good example for her millions of fans, and she was sorry to have disappointed everyone. We forgive you, Debbie. Adult jokes. Well, the topic speaks for itself. There are many jokes that one can choose from a child-friendly show. As much as there were several to pick from, the writers chose the ones that were more adult than childlike. For instance, Luke Ross, the lord of inappropriate jokes in Jessie, made some very disturbing ones that a parent would not want their kids to watch. The time when Zuri decided to appoint Jessie as her new nanny, she came to know that the decision came with a crew of crazy people. When Emma asked Luke to give her moon back, Luke Ross refused. This made Emma mad, and then she insisted that she wanted it for her solar system. Luke, without any hesitation, told his sister that he was going to show her the moon. He turned as if he was going to pull down his pants and show Emma the moon, but Emma pushed him and he fell on the couch nearby. If you know what body part the moon is, you would not wish to be in the same room with kids watching it. Luke also saw Jessie, the new nanny, and thought that she was cute. Jessie replied by saying that she was way too old for him. That is when the most embarrassing jokes you would not wish to hear from a kid the age of Luke were said. The most awkward one was when Luke said that their date was a waste of clean underwear. Funny, right? But the person saying it makes it totally wrong. We all know that in Jessie, 4 of the main characters are kids, with Jessie being their nanny, which shows that there are things parents did not expect to see on the show. However, when 2 adults met on the show, things got a little out of hand. Jessie lost a tiara, and Mrs. Chesterfield used that as a reason for Bertram to ask her out on a date so that Jessie would not lose her job. He was not comfortable with the arrangement, but played along. He said that Mrs. Chesterfield brought out the animal in him while they were dancing passionately. He went on to point out that they could not leave the kitchen because his garlic bread was burning, prompting Mrs. Chesterfield to press her bum on his lap, saying that she knew exactly how it felt. Obviously, things were getting hot, but Mrs. Chesterfield looked disappointed because she could not feel the bread in his pants. When dinner was almost over, Zuri said she knew what Mrs. Chesterfield wanted for dessert, and guess what? It was Bertram à la mode. Yeah, we all know what that statement means, and coming from Zuri, parents were pretty disappointed. Parents didn't like the show. It's not strange in the world of Disney when parents come out condemning some of their shows. One reason is because most Disney shows portray parents or adults as people who don't know anything. They are always confused and agreeing all the time with what the kids say, and this is often offending the parents. Also, kids are portrayed as tough-headed people who always get what they want. If there was a price for horrible parenting on TV shows, it would go to Disney. No one wants a disobedient kid in the first place because dealing with one is very difficult. When you combine these issues and put them in one show, you better be prepared for thorough and heavy criticism. Children finding it comfortable to say certain derogatory remarks in front of their parents is a no for any parent out there, and the kids on Jessie had such freedom. Disney didn't apologize or even make a statement, and that also angered the parents even more, leading to petitions being filed and some families shutting Disney off completely from their homes. Would you find it comfortable watching a show where adults are basically dummies with your kids? Let us know how you feel about this. Culturally insensitive. Well, Disney Channel has always been under heavy criticism because of its culturally insensitive shows. They've had topics that mocked culture, religion, and even physical looks. At one time, there was an episode on Jessie where the Indian character was described as a human samosa. This raised a lot of questions as to whether such comments that are inclined to mock people's looks should really pass as a family show. There was also a problem with the way the actress treated the British nanny Agatha. She was ruthless and very strict for obvious reasons. This was only to keep the kids in check, but it turns out that the show was not done with her. It frequently mocked the nanny, and people thought it just another Disney culture of racial stereotyping. As much as people tried to point it out so that it could be checked and stopped, we know Disney, they completely ignored it and refused to deal with the issue. Opening up. While shooting the Jessie show, Debbie was going through an abusive relationship, and she talked about it sometimes after they did the last episode of the show. The star who gained fans thanks to the show talked to Teen Vogue about a friendship that turned out to be unhealthy in more ways than just one. She said that she wasn't dating the person. The individual considered himself as Debbie Ryan's best friend. They had a professional relationship, and it was such an emotional manipulation to the point where it became physical, but stopped before things got out of hand. Still talking to the publication, Debbie Ryan said that the moment someone put their hand on someone in a violent manner, a boundary had been crossed. She added that if anyone feels manipulated or abused, that is the best it is going to get, and one has to fight for their safety from there onward. She, however, assured her fans that her relationship with her former boyfriend and a 21 Pilots drummer, Josh Dunn, was not abusive at all, and even shared personal information where she felt frightened. So what happened with her other guy was that they met at a meet and greet, and the guy said he wanted to talk to her. They had not talked for a month, and Debbie wanted him to leave her alone. The guy got mad and threw a phone at her that broke into pieces. He was screaming and punching the wall while cursing her out. He then started bawling, saying he was sorry and that he loved her, grabbed her by the wrist, pulled her in the bathroom, and locked the door. While Debbie Ryan is grateful that she was able to pull out of the relationship before it was too late, the actress hoped that sharing her story would make a difference in many young girls' lives out there. And that is it for today. Were you a fan of Jessie? Do you have any memories of it that might have offended you or made you feel awkward in front of your friends or parents? Please share them with us in the comments section below. And remember, we upload new and exciting videos daily about your favorite shows. Be sure to catch us tomorrow with yet another exciting video. And don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. Also, turn the notification bell on because you would not want to miss any of our content. This has been Riveted.